Before we dive into today's story, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel keep creating more powerful, emotional, and breathtaking stories like this one. And don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement keeps this community alive. Now, let's begin. The late autumn sun falls in soft, copper-colored streaks through the glass walls of the Manhattan high-rise, turning the living room into a warm, golden frame, but Camilla Rhodes barely notices it. She stands by the window, her hands resting against the cool surface, watching the distant city blur beneath her. Nothing in her outward stillness reveals the storm that brews beneath her calm exterior. Camilla is in her mid-30s, but she carries the kind of composure most women spend a lifetime trying to earn: elegant posture, silent strength, and the faint, captivating mystery in her eyes. She looks like someone who has lived enough to know better, yet is still soft enough to feel everything deeply. Behind her, the lock clicks. The door opens. And Xavier Cole steps inside. Xavier, tall, sharply tailored, with the kind of quiet magnetism that makes strangers turn and look twice. His presence never drifts into a room, it arrives, fully formed, commanding, intentional. He closes the door with the effortless confidence of someone who always knows exactly where he stands. Except today, he hesitates. Camilla hears it. She feels it. That small, almost invisible pause. A pause that wasn't there before. She turns slightly, just enough to catch his reflection in the window. His shoulders are tense. His jaw is tight. His tie is loosened halfway, like he's had a long day, or like he's been somewhere he can't explain too quickly. Her voice is soft but steady. Late night at the office? Xavier's eyes meet hers through the glass. It's brief. Too brief. Yeah, he says. Meetings ran over. You know how quarter end gets. She does. But something is off. Xavier moves through the room, setting his briefcase down with more care than usual. He removes his watch, places it precisely on the marble console. Every motion is controlled, almost rehearsed. Camilla watches him, sensing the tension in every gesture, the unspoken weight in the air between them. When he finally turns to her, his smile doesn't reach his eyes. You ate? He asks. Not yet. He nods, but he doesn't walk to her. He doesn't kiss her cheek. He doesn't touch her waist. These small absences speak louder than anything he could say. Camilla turns fully toward him now, leaning a hip against the window ledge. Her voice carries a gentleness that feels like velvet layered over steel. Xavier, talk to me. His gaze flickers, something fragile, almost fearful, flashes behind those dark eyes before he quickly masks it with a familiar calm. There's nothing to talk about, he says. A lie. A small one. But Camilla feels it. She feels everything. The space between them shifts. Something tilts, almost imperceptibly, like the first crack in a glass floor no one believed could break. Xavier walks toward the kitchen, loosening his shirt cuffs. Camilla follows slowly, watching him move with a guardedness that is new, unsettling. The kitchen lights glow softly, wrapping them in warm illumination as tension thickens in the air. He opens the fridge. She watches his shoulders rise and fall, a too deep breath. Xavier, her voice comes again, lower now, steady. Are you okay? He pauses, his hand gripping the fridge door a second longer than necessary. I'm fine, he says again. Too quickly. Too practiced. When he turns, their eyes lock, and that's when Camilla sees it clearly. Distance. The kind that does not grow overnight. The kind that begins slowly, silently, seed by seed. Her chest tightens, not with jealousy or fear, but with something more painful, recognition. She steps closer, closing some of the emotional space between them. You're pulling away from me, she says quietly. Xavier freezes. His throat works around words he doesn't speak. His eyes soften, just for a second, then harden again, covered by that mask he's been wearing for weeks. Camilla. I'm just tired. But exhaustion doesn't make a man distant. It doesn't make his touch hesitant. It doesn't make his phone face down on every table. It doesn't make him jump every time a message comes in. She studies him carefully, the man she's loved fiercely, passionately, the man whose heartbeat she once knew by memory. Something is wrong. And it is getting bigger. Is there someone else? She asks. The question lands like a drop of cold water in a silent room. Xavier's expression doesn't change, not outwardly, but internally, the ground under him shifts violently. His jaw clenches. His hands curl at his sides. His eyes darken with something he cannot hide quickly enough. Camilla sees it. The flicker. The fear. The guilt. But he says nothing. Silence, heavy and cold, stretches between them. And that silence answers her more clearly than words ever could. Camilla's breath trembles, but she doesn't cry. She has always been stronger than that, stronger than she appears, stronger than Xavier has ever fully understood. She steps back slowly, creating a physical distance that mirrors the emotional one he created long before this moment. "You owe me the truth," she whispers. Xavier swallows hard, staring at her with storm-filled eyes. For a moment, she sees the man she once knew, vulnerable, honest, deeply connected to her. But then, he turns away. Every step he takes without speaking fractures something inside her. Camilla's heart aches, but beneath the pain, a deeper sensation begins to rise, suspicion, sharp and biting. Something isn't right. This isn't just infidelity. This feels like danger. Like secrets with consequences. Like Xavier is hiding something bigger than a woman. And she feels, instinctively, that whatever he is involved in is about to pull her into a world she never asked to enter. A world far darker than a broken marriage. She watches him retreat down the hallway, his shoulders tight, his silence suffocating. And in that quiet, Camilla hears the whisper of a truth she isn't ready to face. This is only the beginning. The beginning of betrayal. The beginning of unraveling. The beginning of something that will change everything. And just as the city lights flicker outside the window, Camilla Rhodes realizes that the man she loves, the man she trusts, may soon become the man she fears. Night settles across Manhattan like a velvet curtain, swallowing the city in shadows and warm glimmers of yellow light. But inside Camilla Rhodes' penthouse, the darkness feels different, thicker, heavier, as if something unseen is breathing beneath the walls. She stands in the dining room now, her fingers lightly grazing the edge of the mahogany table as she replays every moment from earlier. Xavier's silence. His avoidance. The look in his eyes, guilt drowning beneath fear. It wasn't the look of a cheating man. It was the look of a man hiding a danger. The difference chills her. Camilla draws a slow breath, trying to steady the storm inside her. She's always prided herself on reading people, understanding them at their core, but tonight she feels blindsided. She hears footsteps. Xavier emerges from the hallway, freshly showered, a towel slung around his neck. His shirt clings to his still damp skin, outlining the strength of his shoulders, the ridges of his chest. He looks almost vulnerable like this, almost. But his eyes avoid hers. He moves around her like a man navigating a minefield, careful, deliberate, controlled. Camilla's heartbeat stirs, equal parts longing and dread, because even now, even through suspicion and pain, he still affects her. "Are you going to keep pretending everything's fine?" she asks softly. Xavier pauses at the kitchen counter. His hands rest flat against the marble, knuckles whitening. The air between them crackles, tension, desire, and something darker intertwined like electric wires. "I'm not pretending," he says. A lie. A whisper. A warning. Camilla steps closer. One step. Then another. Until she's near enough to smell the faint cedar scent of his cologne mixed with the heat of his skin. Her voice lowers, threading through the space between them like smoke. "Then what are you doing?" His breath catches, the smallest reaction, but she notices. He closes his eyes briefly, as if summoning strength he'd rather not need. Camilla, please drop this. Drop what? She presses. The feeling that the man I share a home with is slipping away? The sense that something is wrong in a way you refuse to name? He opens his eyes, and in them, she sees turmoil. Real. Raw. Fractured. I don't want to hurt you, he murmurs. Camilla's heart twists sharply. That sounds like an admission. Xavier shakes his head, but it's a soft, helpless gesture. He turns away from her, bracing himself against the counter, shoulders tense. The muscles in his back twitch under his shirt, stress, fear, conflict. She moves closer, slowly, until she stands behind him. She lifts her hand and hesitates, touching him now feels like reaching into fire. But her ache for answers outweighs her fear of getting burned. Her fingers brush his shoulder. Xavier flinches. Not from her touch. From what it awakens in him. He turns around abruptly, his breath unsteady, his eyes searching hers with something dangerously close to longing. Camilla, he whispers. The sound of her name on his lips sends a tremor through her. She feels the gravitational pull between them, the heat, the history, the desire that refuses to die even in suspicion. But she steadies herself. No more evasions, she says. Tell me what's happening. He steps back, shaking his head, breaking the contact before it deepens into something neither of them is ready to confront. You wouldn't understand, he says, voice cracking around the edges. Try me. He curses under his breath, rare for him. He runs a hand through his hair, pacing the kitchen like a trapped man. The pendant lights cast shadows across his face, making his conflicted expression appear carved in light and darkness. I'm trying to protect you, Camilla, he finally says. That's all I've ever tried to do. Camilla's pulse drags to a slow, heavy thud. From what? She whispers. He stops pacing. He looks at her. Not like a lover. Not like a partner. But like a man afraid she might be standing too close to the edge of something deep and dangerous. From the consequences of my choices, Xavier says. The words settle in the air like cold mist. Camilla takes a step toward him again, not out of desire now, but out of instinct, the fierce instinct to understand, to reach him before he disappears into whatever darkness he's hiding. Xavier, she breathes, are you in some kind of trouble? His jaw tightens. Silence. Then. A loud vibration breaks the moment. Xavier's phone. Face down on the kitchen island. They both look at it. The silence is no longer emotional, it sharpens into adrenaline, crackling through the room like a current. The phone vibrates again. And again. Xavier's entire body stiffens. Camilla sees it, the panic he tries desperately to hide. He rushes forward, snatching the phone so quickly she barely sees his hand move. He doesn't look at her. He presses the phone to his ear and turns away. Yeah, he answers, his voice lower, darker. I told you not to call this number. Camilla freezes. A cold ripple slides down her spine. His voice drops even further, sharp, hushed, laced with urgency. I said I'd handle it. I'm not discussing this over the phone. Do you hear me? Not again. Her breaths turn shallow. She watches him pace toward the window, tension radiating from him in waves she can almost feel. He ends the call with a sharp tap of his thumb. He doesn't turn around. Who was that? Camilla asks, voice trembling. No answer. Xavier. Still silence. He finally exhales, long, heavy, weary, then turns slowly to face her. It's nothing you need to worry about. Camilla takes a shaky step forward. That wasn't nothing. His eyes flash with something fierce and frightening, not directed at her, but at whatever phantom sits behind that phone call. You're right, he says. It wasn't. Her heart slams into her ribs. He walks toward her, slow, deliberate, like a man walking toward the ledge of a confession he doesn't want to make. When he stops in front of her, He's close enough that she can feel the heat of his breath, the tension thrumming beneath his skin. Camilla, he says softly, almost brokenly, I don't want you involved in this. What is this? She asks. His eyes burn, with conflict, with guilt, with hidden truth. I can't tell you. You have to. I can't. Their breath mixes in the narrow space between them. Camilla feels her heartbeat accelerate, fear and longing twisting together until she's not sure which one is stronger. Her voice falls to a whisper. Are you in danger? He doesn't answer. He doesn't have to. She sees it in his eyes. Camilla feels the world tilt beneath her feet. And me? She asks. Am I in danger? Xavier closes his eyes, pain flickering across his face. Yes, he finally says. If you stay too close to me, yes. The confession slices her open with dread. Before she can speak again, another vibration shakes the air, not the phone this time, the building intercom. A voice crackles through the speaker. Mr. Cole, there's someone downstairs asking to see you. He says it's urgent. Xavier goes pale. Camilla turns slowly toward him. Who is it? He swallows hard. Someone who shouldn't know where I live. The atmosphere shifts violently, a rush of danger flooding the room. And just like that, Camilla realizes the truth. The city hums far below, unaware of the storm brewing in Camilla Rhodes' penthouse. The night presses against the windows like a living thing, deep and consuming, yet inside, the air feels heavier than any winter chill. Camilla stands near the couch, arms crossed, every muscle taut. Her eyes, dark and sharp, track Xavier Cole as he paces the room. Xavier is a man who carries tension like armor, now that armor is cracked. The phone call downstairs, the mysterious visitor, the secrets he refuses to speak aloud, all of it lingers between them like a scent that can't be shaken. Camilla swallows hard. She knows the moment has arrived, she can't remain a passive observer any longer. You're not telling me everything, she says quietly. The words float across the room, barely disturbing the thick silence. Xavier stops pacing. He exhales slowly, rubbing the bridge of his nose. I can't, he murmurs. Why? His gaze lifts, locking with hers, and for a moment, all the restraint he's maintained crumbles. She sees the flicker of fear, the weight off choices, the raw vulnerability he fights to hide. Because some truths aren't just mine to share, he says, voice low and trembling. And once they're out, they don't go back in. Camilla steps closer, her heart pounding. I'm already in this, Xavier. You think I don't see the way everything is closing around you? You think I don't feel the danger in the silence? He doesn't answer. Instead, he runs a hand through his hair and turns toward the window. The city lights reflect in his eyes, painting them with streaks of gold and shadow. Her pulse races. The tension between them is unbearable, not only because of fear, but because every inch they're apart feels like electricity. Every glance, every small movement, has weight. You're lying to me, she says softly. He flinches at the accusation, but the sharp edge in her voice isn't anger, it's need. Need for truth. Need for him to let her in, even just a little. I'm protecting you, he says again, almost pleading now. Camilla shakes her head. You think I need protection? You think I wouldn't stand beside you, no matter what? For a moment, Xavier freezes. He looks at her, not just really sees her, and something raw surfaces in his eyes, longing, fear, desire, and guilt tangled together. You don't know what it is, he whispers. Then tell me, she presses. Because whatever it is, I need to know before it destroys us. Xavier steps toward her, stopping just short. The space between them feels smaller, dangerous, intimate. His voice is a soft murmur. Camilla, there are people, powerful people who would do anything to make me disappear. And by extension, you too. Her stomach twists. Her mind races. But beneath the terror, a strange heat rises, the heat of intimacy born of shared danger, the connection that comes from standing at the edge together. I don't care, she says. Whatever it is, we face it together. His lips part slightly, as if to speak, but then he shakes his head. I can't. Not yet. The tension coils tighter, unrelenting. Camilla feels the magnetic pull between them, the danger, the longing, the shared vulnerability. She steps closer, daring. Xavier. He stops her with a hand, not touching her, but the energy between them snaps like lightning. The electricity is palpable, his restraint, her desire, the unspoken emotions weaving a silent web around them. I won't risk you, he says. You're already risking me, she counters. He looks at her, his expression breaking, and then the intercom buzzes again, a harsh, grating sound that slices through the room like a knife. Xavier freezes. Camilla watches, sensing the shift in his body, the subtle tightening of muscles. He knows that sound. That visitor. That unknown danger. He steps back toward the intercom, moves to the panel, and presses the button cautiously. Yes, he says. The voice on the other end is low, deliberate, almost taunting. Mr. Cole, we know she's here. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Xavier's eyes snap to Camilla. Panic and anger flash across his face. Camilla, you have to stay quiet. Please. But she's already moving, stepping close, pressing herself beside him, ready to face whatever storm is coming. The danger, the suspense, the intimacy, it all collides into one moment of adrenaline and heat. I'm not leaving, she says, voice firm, unwavering. He looks at her, a mixture of fear and awe in his eyes. The proximity is unbearable, yet magnetic, his restraint against her resolve is a dance neither can stop. The intercom buzzes again, and Xavier swears under his breath. He presses the button. We're leaving, he says to her, tone clipped but urgent. Camilla notices the tiny gestures, the way he's hyper-aware of every sound, every shadow, the way his fingers brush a loose strand of her hair by accident as he grabs her hand to guide her. There is tension, danger, and desire all mixed into a single, unspoken language. They move through the apartment, silent, eyes constantly scanning for threats. The city outside seems oblivious to the storm they're in, but inside, every heartbeat is a drum signaling the start of a war. Xavier stops at the bedroom door. He glances at Camilla, his eyes dark with intensity. Lock the door, he whispers. She does, her hands trembling slightly, and he finally exhales, the weight of secrecy pressing down on him. They sit on opposite sides of the room, the tension between them unbroken, but palpable, like a wire stretched so tight it might snap. Camilla watches him, sees the storm behind his eyes, the secrecy, the danger. She also sees the vulnerability, the longing, and the unspoken attraction that binds them tighter than ever before. I can't tell you everything, Xavier says finally, voice low, trembling with exhaustion and restraint. Then tell me what you can, she urges. He leans back, running a hand over his face. Not yet. But I swear, you'll understand everything. Soon. Camilla exhales, frustration mixed with desire. Every muscle aches for answers. Every nerve is alight with tension. And in that charged silence, she realizes something crucial. Xavier Cole has become not only the man she loves but the man she fears most, not for what he might do, but for the secrets he keeps. And she knows, deep in her bones, that nothing in her life will ever be safe again, not her heart, not her mind, not even her very existence. Because the shadows between them are growing, and soon, they will step fully into the darkness. Rain lashes against the windows of Camilla Rhodes' penthouse. The city below is blurred, a smear of lights and shadows that mirrors the storm raging inside her. Every heartbeat is synchronized with the pounding of rain, a pulse she feels down to her bones. Tonight, there is no space for pretense. Everything comes to a head. Camilla stands near the living room window, arms crossed, eyes scanning the city streets as if looking for the invisible threat Xavier Cole has been shielding her from. Her mind races, piecing together fragments of his behavior, the late nights, the secret calls, the distant stares, and she finally understands, this is no ordinary secrecy. Xavier steps into the room, soaked from the rain, his coat hanging limply from his shoulders. His hair is damp, curling slightly at the nape of his neck. He looks both fragile and impossibly strong, a contradiction that has always captivated Camilla. I had to get back, he says, voice low, heavy. They're out there, looking for me. Looking for us. Camilla's pulse quickens, not just from fear, but from the intimacy of his closeness. He doesn't touch her yet, but she senses every inch of him as he moves past the window to stand near the sofa. The tension between them is electric, charged with shared danger and suppressed desire. Why didn't you tell me, she asks, voice trembling with equal parts anger and concern. I wanted to, he admits. I wanted to tell you everything, but I couldn't risk it. Not until I knew who was watching, not until I knew it was safe. Her eyes narrow. Safe? Xavier, nothing about this has been safe for weeks. 4 months. You've been dragging me into this, into your secrets, into your danger. He steps closer now, just a pace away. I had no choice, he murmurs. Everything I do to keep you alive. Camilla swallows hard, her heart hammering. She wants to believe him. She wants to step forward, to close the distance between them and feel the safety she longs for. But she's terrified that every touch, every word, might pull her deeper into a storm she cannot escape. Then tell me now, she whispers. No more secrets. No more lies. Xavier's eyes darken, filled with a mixture of guilt, longing, and something feral she has never seen before. He reaches out, brushing a damp strand of hair from her face. The touch is feather-light, intimate, incendiary. You're already in it, Camilla, he says softly. You've been in it from the start, whether you realized it or not. Before she can respond, there's a sudden knock at the door. Sharp. Urgent. Deliberate. Camilla freezes. Her breath catches. Xavier moves toward the door, but she steps in front of him, placing her hand on his chest. The warmth of his body through the wet fabric of his coat sends a shiver down her spine. We face it together, she says, voice firm. He swallows and nods. Together. He opens the door slowly. A man steps in, tall, faceless under the shadows of the dim hallway light. But Camilla notices the glint of a badge, the subtle authority in his posture. Xavier tenses. This is Agent Calloway, Xavier murmurs. He knows too much to be ignored. The man's gaze flickers to Camilla. Ma'am. I need you to stay back. This is dangerous. I don't leave, Camilla says. Her eyes never leave Xavier. She's never leaving his side, not now, not ever. Agent Calloway exchanges a look with Xavier. You should have told her sooner, he mutters, mostly to Xavier. I couldn't, Xavier admits, voice breaking. I couldn't put her in danger. Camilla takes a step forward. Xavier, whatever this is. I need to know. I need the truth. Xavier's lips part, and the dam holding back months of secrets finally breaks. He explains everything, the shadowy figures, the threats, the dangerous financial entanglements he uncovered months ago, the reason his silence has been absolute, the reason he's kept her in the dark. Every detail is laced with danger, but also with raw honesty and vulnerability. As he speaks, Camilla feels the layers of fear, betrayal, and longing entwine. The intimacy of his confessions, of trust placed in her despite the peril, ignites something fierce inside her. She steps closer. Her hand finds his. The touch is deliberate, grounding, alive. The storm outside mirrors the storm in her chest, tension, fear, and desire fused together in a single heartbeat. You could have been hurt, she whispers. I know, he says. His eyes never leave hers. But I can't protect you by hiding from you anymore. And then, just as the gravity of the moment reaches its peak, the lights flicker. Shadows crawl across the walls, long and ominous. Camilla's hand tightens on Xavier's. Her body tenses, every nerve alight with the knowledge that danger is still real, still close. Suddenly, a sound, metallic, echoing, unmistakable, comes from the hallway. Someone is inside. Xavier steps forward, pulling Camilla behind him. The two of them move silently, seamlessly, a perfect unit born of fear, trust, and something deeper, desire tempered by life-threatening stakes. The intruder emerges, and the confrontation is electric. Words are exchanged, threats made. Camilla watches Xavier navigate the danger with precision, his every movement calculated, controlled, yet undeniably human. His strength, his intelligence, his courage, all collide in ways that leave her breathless. At the height of the confrontation, Camilla realizes something terrifying and beautiful: she is irrevocably tied to Xavier. Not just through love, but through danger, secrecy, and the fragile, fleeting intimacy that only emerges when life itself is on the edge. In the aftermath, with the intruder contained, the immediate danger past, Camilla and Xavier collapse together on the sofa, bodies close, skin almost touching. The adrenaline hasn't left, their hearts pound in sync. Camilla leans against him, resting her head on his chest. She can feel every beat of his heart, every ragged breath. The intimacy between them is overwhelming, emotional, and tender. Xavier wraps an arm around her, holding her like she is the only thing that matters in the world, which, after tonight, might be true. They sit there in silence, letting the storm outside mirror the storm within, letting the gravity of what they've survived, and what they've shared, settle. Camilla knows one thing with absolute certainty: she loves him more fiercely now than ever before, despite the danger, despite the secrets, despite the fear. And she also knows, with the clarity that only comes after walking through fire together, that the road ahead will be fraught with peril, passion, and profound revelations. But for the first time in months, she feels alive. Truly alive. Xavier kisses the top of her head gently, almost reverently. "We're in this together," he whispers. "Yes," she replies, voice soft but unshakable. "Together." Outside, the rain continues, washing the streets clean. Inside, Camilla and Xavier sit together, a fragile, beautiful calm surrounding them, the quiet aftermath of chaos, and the beginning of a love and trust reborn in fire, danger, and intimacy. And though shadows still linger, though secrets may yet rise, one truth is undeniable: they belong to each other now, in a world where every heartbeat matters, every touch ignites, and every glance speaks volumes. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more captivating tales of suspense, emotional drama, and deep intimacy. Share your thoughts below. We'd love to hear how this story made you feel. And stay tuned, more breathtaking stories are coming your way. Red Heart Sparkles.